Today, my special guest mentor of the week is a multifaceted marketing expert. With over a decade of experience in the industry, Aidan Crawford has established himself as the go-to marketing guide for speakers, trainers, and consultants. Aidan is the owner of Short Circuit Media and the author of the recently released DIY Marketing for Consultants, Trainers, and Professional Speakers, the non-guru guide to getting it right. Aidan lives in Toronto, but works with clients around the world, helping them to identify who their ideal clients really are and develop and execute on strategies to get their businesses growing based on solid content and smart social media marketing. Aidan, welcome to the show, and thank you for being this week's guest expert and mentor.
Thank you, Susan. I'm looking forward to this.
DIY marketing is what so many authors find that they need, because obviously the alternative to hiring someone, could cost a fortune. But the problem is that they just don't know where to start. So let's start there. What would you recommend?
Well, for all first-time authors, what I would like to recommend is a lot of it is you're forced in by economics to do the DIY, go the DIY route. And that includes using something like CreateSpace or Ingram Spark to actually publish your book. A lot of the authors that I've worked with and the speakers that I've worked with, they get brokenhearted that they can't get their book published by a big publishing house. But the reality is, because we have these sources where anybody can publish a book these days, a lot of people are publishing books. The economics of it means that you have to do the DIY. Did that answer the question?
It did to a certain extent, but I'm going to push you further.
Push me further.
So they've got the book.
Yeah.
And they need to start marketing it. What would be the first steps that you would recommend?
Now, I recommend having a website for a book. Now, I have a friend of mine who wrote a book, A History of a Dank Rock Club in Toronto. And one of the first things I did for him just as a lark, was I built him a website for his book. Before the book was even published, there was a simple WordPress website was put up where people could pre-order the book. He attached it to his Facebook business page. He had created a whole bunch of social media around it, and he started promoting it that way. So his book was primarily for, individuals, not corporations. It wasn't a business book. His channels that he focused on as far as social media were Instagram and Facebook, because that's where his readers primarily were. As a business writer, a nonfiction business writer, if that's the route our listeners are going in, then I would recommend promoting your stuff on LinkedIn. Now, there is a quick way that I like to do it. So let's say you build the website on WordPress. You can go to a service like Upwork.com or even Fiverr, and somebody will build you a simple website for a couple $100. They're not that expensive to build. Much like books, anybody can have a website these days. And if you don't have a website for your business, it makes sense to at least have the website for your book to promote it. It gives you an additional channel to send things out there. Now, once you have that website done, one of the ways that I like to promote books, and the way I'm promoting my book, is I wrote out on a spreadsheet 28 status updates that go to LinkedIn, Twitter, and my Facebook business page. And what I've done is I have one of those or two of those going out each day. I've scheduled them through a service called Hootsuite that a lot of people will be familiar with. It's basically a scheduling software where you can input your updates, and those updates will then be sent out to the various social media you choose. So I've got my updates promoting my book through all these different channels, primarily because of my market. It's my Facebook business page, my LinkedIn page, and my Twitter page. Notice that I'm not sending it to my personal Facebook page, because one of my pet peeves, and I'm sure most people's pet peeves, is being spammed by work copy by people that you used to get drunk with in college. Really, I try and keep my Facebook personal separate from my Facebook